Okay, what we're going to learn today is how to do a value scale. And when in art and you refer to value, you're talking about the lightness or darkness of a surface. And so we're going to make two 6-inch long bars. So you can just trace around three sides of your rulers to the 6-inch mark. And then draw that line. And then you're going to divide this first bar into 6 sections. And you want to make marks on the top and the bottom so that your lines are straight. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Close that up a little bit. Alright, and we are doing a value scale. We're going to start out with dark. We're going to move across to light. Now, when you do a value scale, there's a couple things to keep in mind that craftsmanship can make or break well executed values. So if you are not doing a very good job of shading and you leave it kind of sloppy, when you try to apply it to your artwork, it's not going to be convincing. It's just going to be a distraction. So I always have people start with the darkest area because that seems to be the easiest. And I always tell people to hold your pencil way back and use the side of your lead so that you get a nice wide mark, but you don't get pencil grooves. And when you don't have pencil grooves, it's much, much easier to blend. If you're pressing like this and you're pressing really hard, you're still going to get the dark value, but you're also going to get some really distracting pencil lines, which then actually takes away from your shading. So, and you're going to go right up to the edge. You don't want to leave any white showing. So take your time. If you go over, fix it. And again, if you're using the side of your lead like I'm instructing, when you need to erase something, it's going to erase a lot easier also because it's not being ground into the paper. So you want to make sure that you're going right up to the line. You're not leaving any white patches, and it is the darkest you can make it with your pencil. It's going to look like that. And then on this next one, it's going to be one step lighter. And if you notice how I'm constantly turning my paper so that I can get a better angle, I'm working with the angle of my right hand instead of trying to make my right hand work with the angle of the paper. Now, I can do this fairly quickly because I've done this many times. But for beginners, you're going to want to take your time and do it right. It's not about getting it done. It's about doing it correctly. So I'm always evaluating my work and seeing how I can make it a little bit better. So you want a nice consistent mark. You don't want there to be noticeable lighter sections. You want that whole block to be consistent. The next one is a step lighter. Now as you get into the lighter values, it gets a little harder and more difficult to get the lines consistent, or get the value consistent, I should say. And so one thing I like to do is I like to shade horizontally and then change the paper and go vertically, and that seems to blend the pencil lines a little bit and help make the values more consistent. So you can kind of see how this is going. And this one's going to be one step lighter. This pencil's acting up on me. This is not possible to do with an automatic pencil. So if you have an automatic pencil, you are not going to be able to do this very effectively, and you're going to find yourself getting very frustrated. So you need to find yourself a traditional wooden pencil. And the best kind to do this with is a 2HB, because it's a soft lead and it's typically very smooth. Now, some of you have learned about smear or smudging or blending. I don't want you doing that. I don't want you using your fingers for any blending. I want you to learn to do this correctly with your pencil first. And then once you've got that skill down, you can worry about smudging with your finger. But for this project, or for this exercise, there should be no finger smudging or paper towel smudging or whatever. So this last one is going to have hardly any mark on it. And notice how I'm holding my pencil way at the end so that I don't mark as hard. And then what you want to do is you want to kind of go over and say, okay, this one, there's not as much difference there as I'd like. So I'm going to make that a little bit darker. And then this one I can go over one more time. So that you eventually have different steps of values going from dark to light.